Good morning. What's up, everyone? Happy Sunday. Happy week number 6. To those of you who have been up since 6:30 a.m. watching Broncos and Jets in London. Good morning to you as well. It's halftime in London. Jets just had a disaster of a 2-minute drive. Garrett Wilson's crashing out off the sideline, and yet it's a close game. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But halftime there, so good time to jump on here and do our Sunday morning last-minute updates for your fantasy lineup. A lot of us are fighting for our playoff life, our playoff hopes, our playoff dreams. Not looking to tank this early into the season. A lot of 1 and 4s or 2 and 3s out there, and this is a crucial week for you. Raise my hand. I'm on that list as well in several of my leagues. Let's get it started here with who is definitely out. If they're in your lineup, please yank them right away. Lamar Jackson is out. I hope you know that. Lamar Jackson is out. He won't be playing for the Ravens. That, I think, affects the entire offense. You don't expect it to be as productive, as many red zone trips, as many touchdowns for sure. I'm not playing Derrick Henry today if I don't have to. He's been bad with Lamar Jackson. I think even without, they're going to fall behind so early with that defense being terrible and the Rams clicking. I'm not playing Derrick Henry if I don't have to. He's possibly a flex option, but definitely not in my RB1 or RB2 spots. Zay Flowers, I think you could play him. I think you could play Zay Flowers, and he's a decent flex option, maybe a low-end wide receiver too, with Cooper Rush back there at quarterback today. Other than that, I'm not playing anyone else. Maybe Mark Andrews, if you know, that's how the tight end position is, though. I mean, if that's your guy, I guess you can maybe get away with that. But I'm just not in on the Ravens offense today. I don't think it's going to be a good day for the Ravens. I think it gets darker in Baltimore for sure. Moving on, Brock Purdy, of course, is not going to play as well. He's coming back here soon, but it's going to be another Mac Jones week. Mac Jones himself was kind of beat up last week, but he's going to play. I would play Mac Jones in a 2-quarterback league for sure. He looked really good in Shanahan's offense last week. As far as affecting the other weapons, I don't know if the change from Brock Purdy to Mac Jones affects any other weapons, but we'll get to the other weapons individually. But I don't think the change at quarterback is going to affect that conversation too much. Stop here. A couple questions before we move forward. Do I start Pollard for Golden or Charbonnet? Or should I trade Pollard for Golden and Charbonnet? Yeah, I would do that trade. Pollard gets the work. It's not going to blow you away, but he gets the work. Golden and Charbonnet, you definitely can't say that for them. A couple more questions here. Shaheed, Michael Carter, or Zach Charbonnet? If I were to start one today, I would go Shaheed. Listen, guys, a lot of us went and spent our waiver wire, a priority on Michael Carter. Came out this morning, just a couple minutes ago, that the Cardinals have announced not only will Kyler Murray not be starting today, add that to the list of people who are out. It will be Jacoby Brissett, but also a shakeup in the backfield will not be Michael Carter, apparently. Apparently, it's going to be Bam Knight. And so my advice, stay away from the Cardinals' backfield. I don't want any of it. Bam Knight is, whoa. If that's the guy you're turning to, it must be bad there in the backfield without Trey Benson, without James Conner, of course. If you at all can stay away from it, stay away from it. I think they're both, Michael Carter and Bam Knight, risky plays in your flex even today. I stay away from it if I could. A couple more questions here on TikTok. Pickens or Ladd? Quentin Johnson isn't expected to play. Yep, Quentin Johnson's not expected to play. And the Cowboys have a decent matchup. I'd probably go Pickens there. Ladd just hasn't been it yet. And I get that without Quentin Johnson, we have hopes for Ladd to pop off, but I don't know if Quentin Johnson's the guy that affects Ladd McConkey too much. I think that would be Keenan Allen. If Keenan Allen was out, then maybe I'd be a little more bullish on Ladd McConkey. I think they work in different parts of the field. I'd probably go Pickens over Ladd McConkey. I think you can play Ladd, though. If you have Ladd today and you have a flex spot open and you're weighing against like a Tony Pollard or I'm trying to think of more of a fringe guy, Keon Coleman or someone like that, I would go McConkey today and expect maybe a double digit, maybe capped at like a 15 finish, but I think he's fine today. Another one here, Ridley or Bourne from Logan Lawyer. What's up, Logan? I would go Ridley today. He had the big game last week, but that's not why I'm going Ridley. Juwan Jennings is active for the 49ers. We're going to get to that here in a second, but he is active for the 49ers, and I think that does put a damper on what we can expect from Kendrick Bourne. And so the big Kendrick Bourne game that we were hoping to get back-to-back weeks, I don't know if that's going to happen. It's a little more risky now with Juwan Jennings being active, with Jake Tonjes taking a big part of that passing game as well. I think I'd go Ridley there and hope that he, lightning strikes twice and he has another big game. Massive game last week and has been among the lead leaders in target share all year long. I think it's fine. Jump here in the comments. I think it's Instagram or this YouTube. Myers or Ladd McConkey. I just talked about Ladd McConkey. Myers, I just don't want any part of Geno Smith right now. And I get that's kind of a blanket statement and maybe unfair, but just the guy looks terrible. Give me the better quarterback in LA. I'll go Ladd McConkey there over Jacoby Myers. Keep sending your questions in, guys. I'll get to them as fast as I can and as in the flow of this as I can. I need to finish out this who's out, who's in. For the Buccaneers, a trio out here: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, all out. You could start Egbuka, of course. You can start Rachaad White, of course. I think you can maybe even get away with starting Sterling Shepard maybe in your flex as well if you're really hurting for someone to throw out there. I think the Bucs are going to throw the ball, and they're going to throw the ball well with Baker Mayfield, among the best in the league right now. Swift or Kamara here on TikTok. I will go Swift. Kamara is injured and has been losing touches to escape my mind, Kendrick Miller for the last couple of weeks. And so I'd go Swift there. Okay, let's finish out this list real quick. Terry McLaurin not going to play for the Commanders. I think he's getting closer, though, possibly to next week, a return there. We talked about the Niners being out. Ricky Pearsall, one of those who is not going to play today for sure. Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, those guys are out at least another week. Chuba Hubbard not playing today. So the hopes of another big Rico Dowdle game possibly out there for a lot of us. Play Rico Dowdle for sure and take advantage of that as long as you have it. I think as soon as Chuba Hubbard comes back, you are not going to be excited about either of them. So if you got them, smoke them, like they say. Brock Bowers, he's out as well. Again, another week here. I don't think I would still pivot to Michael Mayer, even with Bowers out. Bowers really hasn't commanded that big of a target share anyway. I would just go look at other options at tight end. There's plenty of those mid options at tight end where you don't have to be running out Michael Mayer. Darnell Mooney, not a huge impact, but he's not going to play today. Again, kind of a boost to the London stock, if anything else. Jalen Coker, a lot of people were hoping to see him in Carolina early this year. Didn't happen. Now I'm hoping for this week. That's not going to happen as well as they slowly ramp him up. Probably going to see him next week. Quentin Johnston, we talked about in LA, is most likely out. It's trending out. The news officially hasn't come out that he's out yet, but it sounds like they're not going to push him if that hamstring is anywhere close to being sore or on the cusp of a re-injury. They're not going to push Quentin Johnson. I'd probably pivot away to McConkey. I don't know if I'd play any of the Quentin Johnson replacements, though, whether that's Trey Harris or Lambert Smith. I think Keenan Allen is probably the biggest recipient of a boost today. As far as the Cowboys backfield, Miles Sanders hitting that IR. What I would do this week, guys, if you have a roster spot, just stick Jaden Blue on there. He's a dynamic rookie out of Texas. Now the backup in Dallas with Miles Sanders going down. Javonte Williams is the guy there. He's number 3 RB on the year. I'm not saying he's going to take any part of that backfield, but what I am saying is that he immediately becomes one of the higher end handcuffs in the league. If anything were to happen with Javonte Williams, who, by the way, struggles with an injury late in past, Jaden Blue would immediately become the number 1 waiver wire and someone that I think we could all be really, really excited about. Game time decisions happening right now. Jamar Chase, due to illness, was being talked about. Maybe he might not be able to make this one. He will be active for this game. Jamar Chase is going to play there with the first game with Joe Flacco. I think you can expect decent games from Flacco and Higgins today, maybe even Gesicki, and I think even Chase Brown. I think everyone gets a bump. I don't know how long it lasts. Listen, Joe Flacco was not good in Cleveland. I understand that he has a history of stepping in as a backup and elevating offenses, but for about a year and a half now, he has not been that guy. He is incredibly immobile, now behind maybe what might be the worst offensive line in the NFL. I don't expect this to work for very long if it does work at all. For me, I would sell high on all Bengals skill position players, with the people having the hopes of Joe Flacco resurrecting, a wide receiver, top 5 finish for Jamar Chase. I don't think that's happening. Joe Flacco only finished, I think, above quarterback 29 once in the 4 weeks that he started in Cleveland, and the receivers didn't do very well either. So moving on from that, Alvin Kamara is going to play. He had an ankle injury pop up this week during practice and then was limited from there on out. He is going to play. I expect them to really hold him back. Kendre Miller has been taking over that backfield every single week, a little bit more of the carries, of the percentage of carries. And I think this week we see another bump. I think he got 41% last week. I could see it going over 50 this week. Get a hold of him if you haven't. Maybe if he happens to be on your waiver wire, I'd throw Kendre Miller there as well. Chris Rodriguez calf is gonna more than likely miss this one for the Commanders. So fire up JCM. I think you're gonna fire him up anyway, but fire up JCM for this one. Especially without Chris Rodriguez. I think Jeremy Nichols will be involved, though. JCM did have the breakout game last week, but still not getting anywhere close to the backfield share that we hope him to eventually have. Expected to play today. I did mention Juwan Jennings. Zay Flowers is dealing with the shoulder, but is going to play, and I would have no problem playing with him. A couple of notes just for roster management stuff going forward that you might want to get ahead of. Jaden Blue, I mentioned him. Miles Sanders going down. Why not set him at the end of your bench? Jacoby Brissett starting for Arizona tends to target tight ends. Kind of a nugget there. I think McBride obviously gets a little bit of a boost with that one. Sterling Shepard and Kate Otten, possible streaming options. I mentioned Sterling Shepard earlier. Kate Otten, another one that Baker Mayfield is very comfortable with. And with the lack of weapons there today for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think those are both fine plays. Kate Otten, Sterling Shepard. I think you can stick them in your flex. Kate Otten obviously in the tight end spot and roll with that. Rico Dowdle and Rachaad White, smash streaming plays this week with Chuba Hubbard and Bucky Irving out. Kendre Miller, talked about him. JCM, talked about him. Before we get to additional injury news, let's get back to TikTok here. Hey, guys, thanks for hopping on TikTok. Thanks for sending in your questions. I'm going to jump to a bunch of them now. Should I stack Igbuka and Rachaad White? Yeah, no problem. If you want to play both of those Buccaneers, I think they both eat today for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Should I trade Bucky Irving for Quinshon Judkins and Bill McCroskey? Yeah, I would. Not because Bucky Irving isn't going to have a great year, but I think you're going to get 2 running backs with great years instead of 1, and I think they're all going to end up pretty similar in production. Golden and Carter for Quentin Johnson. In a second trade, Golden and Carter for Quentin Johnson. We just talked about how Carter may have already lost the backfield in Arizona, and he was only going to get it for about 4 or 5 weeks anyway. I would definitely try for Quentin Johnson here, who's had a breakout year. Stafford or Goff today? I'm going Goff. The offense has just been too good, averaging 35 points in the last 4 games for them. Of course, 4-0 during that streak. Sit 1, Ted McMillan, Jamar Chase, and Drake London. Weather shows it is rainy and windy in Carolina. Yeah, I wouldn't go Ted anyway. I would probably go Jamar Chase today with Joe Flacco. I just think there's going to be some momentum there. There's going to be some buzz there. They're going to feel good about it, and he's going to target his guys. That's what you do know about Joe Flacco. He's a vet. He knows where his bread is buttered. He's going to go to T. He's going to go to Chase, and he's going to check it down to Chase Brown, and maybe no one else will see the ball. So I think you could start him. BTJ or Olave? I'd go BTJ. Olave's been capped with that upside. He'll get 12 targets, but he won't break 60 yards. I go BTJ. He had a good game last week, ended up 80 yards on that one. I think they continue to build chemistry there. They continue to move past now the drop rate, and I think BTJ arrow up for me. Kendrick Bourne or Zay Flowers. Talked about Kendrick Bourne earlier. Juwan Jennings is back, so I think the ceiling that we saw last week where he, blew the roof off was one of the starts of the week. I don't know if you see that today with Juwan Jennings. He's a very established target there in San Francisco. I like Zay Flowers today, even with Cooper Rush at quarterback for the Ravens, because they're going to be playing from behind, playing the Rams. Do I start in a flex Gainwell, Hollywood Brown, or Isaiah Pacheco? Gross. Yuck. But if I had to start Gainwell, Hollywood Brown, or Isaiah Pacheco, God, I guess I'd start Pacheco, and I wouldn't feel good about it. I wouldn't watch it, certainly. I would just put him in the lineup and check on the box score later. Pacheco was more involved last week in the passing game, which is always cool to see. And then, of course, is always a candidate to run it inside the 5 on those goal line carries for the Chiefs. And with the Chiefs offense just looking better in general, you expect more goal line carries in general for that offense. Pacheco, the recipient of that. Do you think Dak Prescott has a good and clean game against the Panthers, like no interceptions? Yeah, I think he should. I mean, I think he should have a great game. He's been carving up everyone on his schedule so far, so I don't see any reason why the Panthers shouldn't be a part of that. I'd start Dak Prescott with confidence. Judy or Ridley in my flex. I'm hurting this week. If you're hurting this week, Jerry Jeudy is not the man to turn to. I'll tell you that right now. In my professional opinion, do not turn to Jerry Jeudy in your time of need. I go to Calvin Ridley. Yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are today. Calvin really did have a great game last week. You're hoping for that again. A lot of coach speak this week about getting him the ball in more creative ways. So I think he at least gets the targets. What he does with them, we'll see. But I don't think Jerry Judy's seeing very much action there in Cleveland with the rookie quarterback. Should I start Jacoby Myers? Missed it. Or Worthy? I would start Jacoby. I'm sending Kyron and CD. I'm sending JT, my bad, for Kyron and CD Lamb. I'm 4-1. You're 4-1 because JT got you to 4-1. And I don't really like messing with 4-1 teams. It's working. I get the value there of grabbing CD, and they're going off in Dallas, and Kyron has been really good as well. I personally would stay put. Whoever you have is working. If you have needs arising and you need to grab some more starters, then maybe make the move. But I'd stick with JT there. Pickens, Odunze, London, Egbuka, Ladd, bench 2. First of all, congrats to you for having such a stacked wide receiver room. If I'm picking 2 there, I'm going Egbuka and I'm going Odunze. Should I start Jacoby Myers or Xavier Worthy? I'd start Xavier Worthy there. Yeah, I'm staying away from Jacoby. I'm staying away from the Raiders. Should I pick up off the waiver wire Johnson? If Johnson is out, Shaheed, Myers, or Golden, I go Shaheed there. Do you like the Cowboys or the Panthers? If I'm just straight up picking the game, I'd probably go Cowboys there. The offense has been so good. Start 3, Pollard, Swift, or Chase Brown, or Michael Carter. Not starting Michael Carter. Once again, I'll say it again for those of you just hopping on. Michael Carter is not going to be the starter, or not going to be the lead back, wherever you want to call it. He's not going to get all the work back there this week. Adam Schefter reporting that Bam Knight, that Bam Knight is going to be much more involved. So to fire up this offense, they're turning to Bam Knight in Arizona. Stay away from the Arizona backfield. I think you're starting Marvin Harrison there and Trey McBride and nobody else. Get some more questions here on TikTok. Hey, guys, thanks for following us on TikTok here. Make sure you follow the page. Just answering some fantasy questions here. I've gone through who's in, who's out already. I got a couple more additional injury timelines I want us to pay attention to, and possibly, they raise some opportunities with our rosters. And I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then I'll jump to these last injury timelines, and then we'll bounce out as they are getting ready for the second half here in London. Kamara and Pollard. I'm going Pollard today. Kamara dealt with an ankle injury, and I think he's losing the backfield there anyway. Pollard at least will get the touches. Bourne or BTJ? I'm going BTJ today over Bourne. Bourne is not wide receiver 1 today. I believe that will be Jawan Jennings as long as he's healthy. BTJ, better game last time we saw them, and I like him going forward. Flourney or Hollywood? Not a lot of people talking about Flourney. Thanks for this question. I think I'm going Flourney here. I think Turpin is out. If I want to remember correctly, Tolbert is in. But here's what we learned about Tolbert and all the opportunities he's gotten over the years with Cowboys injuries. He sucks. So that's not someone I'm very concerned about. I would start Flourney here. Monster game last week, and just a different type of receiver than what they have over there as far as body type. Bryce Young or Mac Jones? I'm going Mac Daddy Jones, baby. He lit it up last week, and I'm riding that horse until I was going to do some kind of saying there, but I don't really know where I was going with that. Michael Carter or Hunter Henry in the flex? I'm going Hunter Henry. Michael Carter, we don't know his usage, and I'm not doing that. Jennings or Haskins? I'd go Jennings. Should I wait for Kincaid to see if he plays? Or it's between Johnson, I'm guessing it's Juwan Johnson, or Cole Kmet. Yikes. I'd wait for Kincaid because you can pick up someone last minute on the waiver wire and get a Kmet or Johnson type game. I think Yeah, I wait for Kincaid. Should I be concerned with the wind and rain in Carolina? Absolutely, I think you should. That affects the passing game for sure. I mean, especially with a smaller quarterback. I think with Bryce Young, maybe gripping the ball becomes an issue. Maybe just seeing down the field becomes an issue. I think it affects it. Hey, Kayvon, I'll get you in the DMs after, brother. We're live right now doing some fantasy stuff. Should I start Haskins or Jawan Jennings? I'm starting Jawan Jennings. Okay, let's get to these additional injury timelines, then we'll wrap it up and get back to this second half of the Jets and Broncos. CeeDee Lamb has a good chance of returning next week, guys. If there's some reason someone's trading him in the league, yeah, go grab him. But CeeDee Lamb probably back next week. Sell high on George Pickens this week. Sell high on George Pickens when they've all three played, the big three there. Pickens, Lamb, and number one tight end on the year, Jake Ferguson. It's been Ferguson and Lamb that ate first. Pickens kind of third there. I think he's still going to have games, but it'd be much more boomer bust for Pickens moving forward. I would try to go see what you can get from him. Brock Bowers, still weeks away. They're reporting still weeks away with that PCL injury. If you're relying on Brock Bowers, go and pivot for someone that maybe is a little more helpful. Terry McLaurin, good chance to return next week. We haven't seen Terry McLaurin this year, and so it'll be exciting to see Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels healthy with the Commanders. Exciting for that whole offense. It was supposed to be one of the giving offenses of the NFL this year, and we just haven't seen it because of injury. Lamar Jackson, team hopes that he can be back after its week 7 bye next week, and so I don't think you have to stream for very much longer before you get Lamar Jackson, probably your QB1 back. Brock Purdy, probably going to return next week, but still questionable. Keep tabs on that. But like I said before, I don't think it changes much with the expectations from their receivers. I think whether it's Brock Purdy or Mac Jones back there right now, you're getting the same production. Kyler Murray has a foot injury, and we heard the dreaded Liz Frank word come up here or description come up. Out several weeks. I know it's on the minor end of that, but still something to watch. If Jacoby Brissett looks absolutely terrible today, you need to be selling Trey McBride and you need to be selling Marvin Harrison. If he looks competent, I'd be still selling Marvin Harrison if this is a long-term issue for Kyler Murray. Maybe Trey McBride, you get away with that with his with Brissett's tendency to target tight ends. But definitely something to keep an eye on here with Kyler Murray. It seems like this could be one of those injuries that lasts a little longer than we maybe expect. I'm going to answer about 2 more minutes worth of questions here on TikTok, and then I'm going to hop off. Start 1, Henderson, Jawan Jennings, Bourne, or Golden. Oh, man. Travion Henderson. Is this the week, guys? Antonio Gibson went down last week with a ACL injury. He's out for the season. Is this the week they finally give Travion Henderson carries? I'm going for it. Fire up Travion Henderson, and I think maybe this is the week that he returns that draft stock investment. Other one I'd go is probably Jawan Jennings. Dobbs or Chase. I'm guessing you're talking about Chase Brown or Jamar Chase. I go Jamar Chase. And I go Chase Brown. McBride or Kraft. McBride has a backup quarterback. Yeah, McBride does have a backup quarterback, but he's a backup quarterback that tends to target tight ends. I go McBride or Kraft, even though I think they're both great options. Congrats for having both of them on your roster. Sterling or DJ Moore with Godwin and Evans out. I talked about this earlier. I would go Sterling Shepard here pretty confidently. I think he'll end up in a flex wide receiver 3 range. I like Sterling Shepard. Always good whenever he's called upon. KB or Barner. I'm going Barner there. Thanks for the questions, guys, on TikTok. Make sure you follow the page. We're talking fantasy, betting, and football all year long here on the Bench Podcast. This is the fantasy playlist, the fantasy podcast version of Bench. And that's our Sunday morning show, guys. Those are our last-minute updates. Make sure you are keeping watched on a lot of these things right up to kickoff because things change a lot. Good luck on your Week 6 matchups. I'm going to hop off here on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Instagram. I'll stay on TikTok for a little longer, but enjoy your Week 6, guys. We only have 18 of these, so enjoy it. I'll see you. Bye.